Okay, good morning, everyone. My name is Craig Zamry. I'm a business consultant here at the SBDC at YSU, and we're thrilled to kick off today's session, which is part 2 on e-commerce 101. We're excited to have back with us today Curt Anderson for this session. Last session, Curt provided a high-level overview of e-commerce for business, and today we're going to take a much deeper dive into this subject. So the purpose of today's session is really, it's to help you learn how to optimize your e-commerce sales and cultivate new leads in the digital marketplace. Today, you're going to learn about e-commerce shopping carts and how to select those, optimizing e-commerce product listings, learning tips and tricks for e-commerce success, how to maximize opportunities with online marketplaces, and really how to use e-commerce sales as an effective way to expand your business and increase profitability. So just a quick outline for today's session. Curt Anderson will begin with a presentation, and then after the presentation, my teammate Jenna will be posting questions to Curt that you actually post in the chat or in the Q&A section. So again, please feel free throughout the presentation, post any comments or questions in the chat, and we'll make sure we get those to Curt at the end. So at this time, I'd like to give a nice warm welcome to Curt and turn it over to you.
Hey, Craig, thank you so much. What an absolute honor and privilege it is to be here with everybody. Jenna, thank you. Pat, Director of the Small Business Development Center here at Youngstown State. I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to each and every one of you on the team. So guys, happy Wednesday. Good morning. Lots of exciting things going on today. So again, if you're wherever you're coming from, if you're coming from the Youngstown area, welcome. If you're not involved with the Small Business Development Center, boy, we strongly encourage you to do so. Their services are completely free and confidential. If you're coming to us from outside of Youngstown area, there's definitely an SBDC near you. Now I'm checking out some of our participants. I have a couple folks who are actually going to do a case study, and a couple of my clients are actually on the call today. So Anna, Jennifer, good morning. We talked about you yesterday at our LinkedIn workshop. I'm still flying high from yesterday on our LinkedIn. So if you guys joined us yesterday, thank you. And I want to thank you for today. So guys, today we're going to talk about e-commerce. And as we dig in, as you are entrepreneurs, man, we want to give a big thank you to you. Boy, this year's been a little challenging, and really you are the heroes of our economy. So thank you for out there fighting relentlessly to build your businesses. Now, what we want to do is, hang on one second, let me jump back. So as Craig said, this is part 2 of our e-commerce program. We did part 1 back in June. Man, that was like ages ago. This is part 2. So we want to get a little more technical. So I want to talk to you about the technical definition of e-commerce. The technical definition of e-commerce is exactly this. Sell your stuff online, right? We want to sell your stuff online as profitably as possible, right? Yesterday, we talked about chasing profits. We don't want to chase sales. So who is going to buy your stuff online, and how are they going to find you? Well, for this little shameless plug, what we want to do today, we want to stop being the best kept secret. Little book written by your friend here, Curt Anderson. My mom says it's a bestseller. Love mom. So let's talk about the breakdown in the book of how do we stop being the best kept secret. We have a 4-pronged approach of conquering best kept secretism. Number 1, we want to discover your soulmate, that ideal dream customer. Number 2, we want to make a great first web impression. That's my little QT word for making that great first impression. Number 3, we want to dominate search. I'm going to go through some very strategic plans and strategies, tips for you on how to capture search rankings. And number 4, we want to get on the offensive. So let's just dig right in. So if you're familiar with that term, WIFM, what does WIFM stand for? It stands for what's in it for me, right? Every customer, as consumers, we're asking what's in it for me. What I'd like you to think about, I'm going to put a little play on words here. How about we're going to call it the Wi-Fi's, maybe the Wi-Fi's, but we'll call it the Wi-Fi's. What's in it for your soulmates? Who are your soulmates? Those ideal dream customers. Now, what the goal is, what our takeaway today, the whole theme of our program is, how do we make it as easy as possible to do business with you? How do we make it as easy as possible? We want to keep it super, super simple, because why? Man, customers are just They're just not that smart, man. They're just, as a consumer, I'm really kind of a dummy. You know what I mean? How many times have we been, man, sir, did you read the website? Did you read that sign? Well, no, our consumers are busy. They're caught up in our own lives. We eat, drink, breathe, and sleep our own products and services. So yeah, it makes sense to us, but it doesn't make sense to our customers, right? Craig, I'm going to throw every guy under the bus on the program today. Unfortunately, ladies, us guys, us dudes, we're very fragile. Our egos don't allow us to ask for directions. Why? We hate looking like a fool. So what the point is, we want to make our customers look like a genius, right? Just like Mr. Einstein. So let's just dig right in. I'm going to kick things off looking at that buyer's journey. How do we get that customer, that ideal buyer, our soulmate? How do we convince them to pull out that credit card and purchase? Now, if any of you are seafood lovers, I know we're coming into lunchtime here on the East Coast. If you're a little hungry and you're a seafood fan, I'm going to advise you, please don't look at this next slide. All right. Little spoiler alert. Don't look. Ready? Bam. Unleash your hunger. Isn't this absolutely awesome? This is a company I had the honor and privilege of working with earlier this year. They are in Alaska. They ship custom seafood all over the country. Look at this call to action right here. Unleash your hunger. Will show you what you're missing. Shop seafood. I have one more. Now, again, if you're a little hungry, if you love seafood, please close your eyes, look away. Bam. Mouth-watering options on demand. Don't wait. Your taste buds will thank you. Shop seafood. So again, this is a great, I love this website. I think it's a great example on how this company makes that great first web impression, speaking to their ideal buyer, those soulmates. Let's take a look at another example. Yesterday, we had a great time talking about LinkedIn. This is a LinkedIn connection, did a webinar. This gentleman reached out to me. We're like, hey, let's have a little connection. This is my buddy, Jeffrey Stern. He is the CEO of a company called Voice Express. Who is Voice Express? If any of you, I know Jenna, you've probably had a number of Build-A-Bears. Craig, maybe for your kids, you've purchased Build-A-Bears. I have a whole tub full of them. If you've ever purchased a Build-A-Bear, and on a call, you're going to be needing some Build-A-Bears down the road. But if you've ever purchased a Build-A-Bear and that bear spoke to you, there's a little recording device, and all those devices come exclusively from Voice Express. Now, when I connected with Jeffrey, there was just a little disconnect on his website, and it just didn't really speak to the right language, to the right buyer. So what we did, every client with our training process, we take them through that ideal buyer persona. And what we did is we identified this was their ideal buyer, their soulmate. This was Monica Ventez. So Monica Ventez is in her late 30s. She's a 15-year professional, 2 kids. You see down here, where is Monica? Man, she's hanging out on LinkedIn. It was so awesome having that LinkedIn workshop yesterday. So that's where we want to find and engage with Monica. And then we want our website to speak the right language. So Monica gets it, she understands it, and she has that great first web impression experience. Again, this is like our little, this is a worksheet that we do that we take our clients through on that buyer persona. Now, what the buyer persona does, so I'm so glad Jen and Anna are on the call today. We've been working together for months, and like as a matter of fact, you guys are next. We're going to talk about how your buyer persona defines your keyword strategy, your landing pages, your website, where and how to market your products and services, and where are your personas hanging out. So I'm going to walk through Voice Express and just show you some examples. So what we did, again, let's go back to the original site. Here it is. And now here is the makeover. Now, what we did is Jeffrey Stern hired a new spokesperson. He has a video. You see our call to action for a sample brochure. Now, again, there's that little recording device. If you're like, man, how did that bear speak to me? Well, there it is right there. Now, notice it's super simple. We want our personas to feel like a genius. So we have nice, it's simplistic. It records up to 20 seconds, perfect for your stuffed animals, your dolls. Call to action button. We even offer a little discount here. Next, here's another recording device. Make it very simple on how this product works, how to buy. Now, we also have a call to action. Boy, do you love Voice Express? How about some exclusive deals just for you? And that's what we have going on this page. Another great way to make that great first web impression. How about videos, right? Video. And my team at Sanaflow, they're popping out some new videos. How about reviews? Capturing that social proof. Boy, if I tell you how great I am, doesn't go over too well. But when others tell us how great our products are, that is great social proof. And again, here's an example of Voice Express posting that social proof, 5-star reviews. And we're going to dig into that a little deeper here. Next, now I want to slide into an Amazon conversation. Now, Voice Express, they are primarily B2B. So they're selling to companies like, they're targeting like Walmart, Target, Michaels. They sell to Build-A-Bear. So they're not selling the ones and twos, but they certainly can provide those. What's a great way to do it? Through Amazon. So now you look at this call to action button at the bottom. They're driving consumer traffic to their Amazon store. They're engaging and maintaining their wholesale B2B business by with this call to action button right here. So let's take a look at Amazon while we're at it. If you're plunging into your e-commerce journey, strongly encourage you, invite you, welcome you to explore, exploit, take advantage of the online marketplaces. So let's take a look at Amazon. And what does Amazon do? They allow you to almost create like your own web page, and you can make that great first web impression. That's exactly what Voice Express is doing with this page here. Now, when you take a look at their product, what I invite you to take a look at, see these little buttons on the left? The consumer, that soulmate, can click on each of these buttons and they're going to see a different picture of the product. They even have videos. I'm going to show you another example in a little bit here, but take a look at this. Back to that social proof, nearly 1,000 reviews of this product. Now they've optimized this bottom part with all sorts of product information, trying to make our customer a genius by providing all that helpful information. Now, I also want to talk to you about Dominate Search. The online marketplaces provide a great tool and resource for you to capture and dominate those search engines. Let's take a look. When I do a search for doll recorder, what's coming up? This top section is called Google Shopping. These are paid ads. People are bidding to be in these positions. What's going on here? Number one, you recognize that product. That's Voice Express. But they're not paying for it. Look at that. Amazon is. Now I jump over here to the third position. Once again, there's Voice Express, but it's not Voice Express. It's Amazon. The first organic position, once again, is Voice Express, but it's Amazon. Here they have 3 of the top positions on this page, and they're not paying a penny for those positions because it's Amazon. That's how important it is. And we're going to go deeper into those examples down the road here. Now, Voice Express is also taking advantage of another marketplace called Alibaba. Alibaba is another great opportunity for you to go global with your business for online marketplaces. Now, again, our tagline today is what? Let's make it as easy as humanly possible to do business with you. Now, we want to call it Keep It Super Simple. And as I mentioned, we do a lot of training with companies, primarily like B2B manufacturers. Couple folks have thrown out these testimonials. Being part of the digital marketing course was really eye-opening, especially when it came to our customers. Boy, really identifying who that ideal buyer is. This person says, we weren't even close to doing what we needed to do to reach our customer. This class helped me realize we need to zero in on dog owners first. They have this killer great dog product. We now know who our customer is and how to talk to them. It just makes life so much easier. I always thought our client was a mom and pop store. It's really the distributors and manufacturers. It was life-changing. So folks, again, this is how important it is to identify that ideal buyer. Okay. Anna, Jennifer, here we go, guys. I had no idea you're going to be on the program today. We're going to talk about your company right here. Now, Sanaflow is this wonderful, amazing company based out of Miami, Florida. They manufacture hand dryers and baby changing stations. They are sleek, they are slick, they are affordable, they are incredible, wonderful products. Now, what we did is we went through the buyer persona and we created a couple different ones. We had Alan, the architect. We had Dan, the distributor. Here's Mario. I want to introduce you to Taylor, the interior designer. Boy, at our meetings, we became intimate with our buyers. Every question was really based around what would Taylor want? What would Mario want? How can we help solve their problems? We dug deep into like, what are their goals? What are their frustrations? What are their motivations? And it's so different. If you're targeting, say, government for customers. Okay. Well, they have a whole different set of problems than, say, an entrepreneur or a business owner. Okay. Totally different motivations. So we might want to speak differently or have different landing pages. Let's give you a couple examples. So I want to talk to you the difference between a product page and a landing page. Now, this is a product page. So say if Mario is looking specifically for a product, this is a baby changing table. He can go right to this page and request a quote. Now, check out, this is a brand new landing page that our team at Sanaflow just created. Look how sleek and slick this is. The first baby changing station with ionic hygienic technology. Are you kidding me? How cool is this? Little video right here. Complement your design and give your users peace of mind. Deliver more value and sense of safety. How important is that? More than ever. It eliminates viruses, bacteria, and fungi. Next, what is so important, what Sanaflow does a great job at doing, is not only understanding your customer, it is critical to understand your customer's customer. Well, who is their customer's customer? Right there, man. It's that little baby. It's the mom. It's the dad running through the airport or somewhere at a busy place. They need to change their most precious piece of cargo. And Sanaflow does a great job of communicating that. No more settling for ordinary. Stop sacrificing style and practicality. Great baby changing table. And down here at the bottom, we have a testimonial. Now, guys, I offer a free webinar program every single Friday. Man, we have great guests. A gentleman last month dropped this quote. I felt compelled. I had to share it with you today. On your e-commerce journey, focus on making a difference. Nobody, this was his quote. This is kind of a sad reality, but nobody cares about your product, your service, or your solution. That's the hardest thing for sellers to realize. They care about is a difference that you can make for their organization. Okay. So let's take it one step further. As a matter of fact, here we have Gail. We have Gail speaking in a week from now. Her tagline is sign up, suit up, and show up. Man, you don't want to miss this. So again, great free webinar program for you guys. But let's come back to my friends, Jennifer and Anna at Sanaflow in Miami, Florida. Here's their this is a commercial hand dryer. Boy, great product. And again, this is a product page. So if Alan, the architect, or Mario is doing a search, we want to guide them right to the product. But we also want to have some great landing pages. Now, here's Mario right here. Check out this landing page. Check one more thing off your to-do list. Here's our call to action. Download our free guide. Save time, feel confident, find the best commercial hand dryers and baby changing stations. What Sanaflow is doing is we're making it all about them, right? We're trying to make them look like the genius, make them look like the hero. Here's another quote. And so once again, one more page. Let's back up. 10 problems solved for facility managers. And again, they have a free guide, no questions asked, no expectations. Again, just delivering value to that ideal buyer. And again, we just want to make them look like Mr. Einstein, right? Make them feel like a genius. So let's jump ahead to the next slide. So if you guys recall, Jenna, I don't know if you remember, in our last program, I talked a lot about Engineering Elsa. If you guys remember that movie, drop that in the chat box. It was a great movie. I know every song by heart. I don't know about you, Craig, but we have Engineering Elsa. We also, yesterday we talked a bunch about Bert. How could I go through a program without talking about Ernie, right? So think about Engineering Elsa or Engineering Ernie. And what we're going to do is I want to focus on that, the difference between product pages and landing pages. And then what we're going to talk about for e-commerce is how to optimize your product page. Let's take a look. So at our last program, I talked about a company called Faulkner Electronics. Okay, great custom manufacturer, founded in 1985. If Engineering Ernie or Engineering Elsa they were conducting a search they needed this little item called a ground strap, right? Let's take a look at what's going on this page. By manufacturer direct, no middleman, made in USA since 1985. Super important with all the supply chain challenges we're having right now. Little video for if they're looking for more information, call to action button, get a quote fast. You look up here, take 60 seconds or less. Are you kidding me? We're telling Engineering Elsa or Engineering Ernie, boy, we have your back. We want to get you on your way. Let's get this party started as fast as possible. Let's go. Okay, so now again, great landing page. Now let's talk about the difference between a product page. Now, it's not about me. It's not about Falcon Electronics. It's not about my little goofy ground straps. It's about you. I want you thinking about your product that you have and how would this look to your ideal buyer? How do we want to communicate that to make them look like Mr. Einstein, make them feel like a genius, right? Let's take a look. So the product is braided ground straps. That's our keyword. Okay. Big theme from now to the end of the program. We're talking about keywords, guys, keyword strategy. So here we have a bunch of like keywords, braided ground straps, electrical ground straps, heavy duty ground straps. So we're populating that because we're just not sure what our ideal buyer, what that soulmate might type. Maybe on one side of the country, they call them Kleenex. Well, you know what? Maybe on another side of the country, they call them tissues. So you want to think about, sneakers, shoes, what's different language. Another great thing for search we're going to talk about is now Siri, Alexa. People aren't just typing, they're now talking. Okay. So now engineering Ernie or engineering Elsa, what's important to them? So we have the product description, down and dirty details. We have specs, video, Amazon reviews. Let's take a look at each of those. Okay. Let's see. Let me back up. Before I jump into that, I'm sorry, hang on one second. Before I jump into that, a common question that we're asked, I know we were asked at the last program, is what type of shopping cart should I use? Hey, I'm new to e-commerce, or maybe I've been on e-commerce for a while. What type of shopping cart should I use? Well, the couple examples I'm showing here, they are on WordPress. Your WordPress is the most common content management, meaning website programs. They have great plugins. Their e-commerce plugin is called WooCommerce. Super easy. It's ubiquitous. You can find designers anywhere to help you on WooCommerce if you are on WordPress. Now, if you're like, you know what, I want to try a different shopping cart, maybe something outside of WordPress, or I'm doing my due diligence, and I get asked, Curt, what would you recommend? Here's my answer to you for this. Okay. When selecting a shopping cart, you want to find the company that's going to make it as easy as possible to do business with you. Number one. Now, this answer, I'm going to do a double-edged sword. As you are interviewing or conducting due diligence on who should be your e-commerce provider, you want to find the provider that makes you look like the genius. You want to find a designer. If you're going to do it yourself, if you are tech savvy and you're like, hey man, I'm going to create my own website, strongly encourage you, invite you, welcome you. Find the shopping cart that you find the most simplistic, easy to use, and that your customers are going to find easy to use. If you are outsourcing and you need to hire a firm, my number one word for you, trust. Find an e-commerce firm that you trust impeccably. And if they hit the lotto and move to Tahiti, that you are on a shopping cart platform that you can easily slide into another designer. Okay, so that's my answer. A lot of options. There's Shopify, BigCommerce, 3D Cart, Wibbly, Wix. So again, a lot of options. A lot of these start at like $20 a month, very low cost to get into e-commerce. Okay, let's come back to the product page and we're going to break this page down. We're going to get down and dirty. Ready? Okay, so we have the description. Now here you see we have ground straps multiple times through that description because we're trying to capture those search rankings. Okay. Now for engineering Ernie, for engineering Elsa, we have our specs. Now what on earth does some of these things mean, like AWG, size, termination, what is all this stuff? Well, you know what? To engineering Ernie, engineering Elsa, these are important pieces of information. So like our friends at SantaFlow, they have certain certifications that their soulmates, that their ideal buyers want to read. We want to populate and put as much information as possible to make that purchasing decision easy. Video, huge on video. I couldn't encourage you enough to have video, product videos, testimonial videos, videos of you describing products, maybe how-tos. Now, here's a little tip that I want to share with you. As you put videos on your website, we use what's called Vimeo. Vimeo is basically the exact same thing as YouTube. Now, I'm adamant about using YouTube, But when going on your website, I encourage you to use Vimeo. Why? You know, when you get on YouTube and a video finishes and all of a sudden like 8 other videos pop up, well, YouTube wants you to stay on that site and they have a bunch of different suggestions. If you have ADD like me, all of a sudden you're down in a rabbit hole and like 5 clicks later, you're like, man, where am I? And what was I looking at originally? We want to prevent and avoid people leaving your site. So Vimeo offers it where there's no ads and they can just stay right on that product and there's no diversions. Now, what we've done on Vimeo is we have a full description. We're putting our keywords into that description on the video. I'm going to encourage you to do that on YouTube as well as Vimeo. We're going to talk about YouTube a little later, but right here, I'm planting a seed with you, and we're going to talk about this, backlinks. We are putting links in the video back to, so folks can easily, if they found us on Vimeo first, that they can easily go find that product. And we're going to talk about why backlinks are so important. Okay, so we've covered description, specs, video. Now, Amazon reviews, what we're doing, Falcon Electronics has luxury. They have hundreds and hundreds of 5-star reviews on their product. What they're doing, just like we're doing at Voice Express, is we have a plugin where people can see these views right on our website. You might be saying to yourself, well, if they're on your website, why are you promoting Amazon? Everybody on the planet knows Amazon. Not everybody knows Voice Express. Not everybody on the planet knows Falcon Electronics. What this does is it brings a little street cred, right? Credibility and that social proof. And maybe people are more comfortable buying the product on Amazon. We're like, hey, you're more than welcome buying on Amazon. You can buy it on our site. We don't care. They're still buying our product. So talking about Amazon, let's take a look at what's going on here. Once again, Falcon Electronics, they have their keyword right here, braided ground straps. That's going to be super important. I'm going to show you why. Over here to the left, you see the picture of the product. You also see there's a video underneath. So now what they've done is, let me back up. What they've done is right here, they've populated that video, made in USA, right on their Amazon site. Okay. So again, we're trying to make that great first web impression, build that trust. Now let's take a look from a search standpoint. Now, remember, discover your ideal buyer. That soulmate is our number 1 thing. Number 2, we're trying to make that great first web impression. Number 3, dominate search. Let's go into our search strategy right now. If I do a search for ground straps, let's take a look at what we see organically. These are not paid ads. These are the organic positions that are free. They don't cost a company a single penny if somebody clicks on this 1,000 times, right? So the number 1 position is Amazon. The number 2 position is Amazon. Number 3 position is Falcon Electronics. Now, being the greedy person that we are, right? We're like, man, I'd love to be number 1. Now, keep in mind, so this little goofy product called ground straps is a multi-billion-dollar industry. It is massive. There are hundreds of companies that sell ground straps. We're competing like AutoZone, O'Reilly Auto Parts, any major brick and mortar auto store, Grainger, Amazon, Walmart, you name it, we're competing with them, multi-billion-dollar companies. So Falcon Electronics is about 35 employees. Coming up in that number 3 position for a super competitive word is a massive victory. However, we would love to have a part of this party, number 1, number 2. So if I click on number 1, that number 1 position for ground straps that Amazon holds, check this out. That product right there to the right, where the arrow is, that's Falcon Electronics. So that's the number 4 position. Number 5 position is Falcon Electronics. Number 6. So we have 3 out of the 8 positions. So if a consumer, our soulmate, that engineer from Boeing, engineer from Lockheed Martin, somebody from Ford, when they click on ground straps and say they happen to go Amazon first, out of the 3 out of the 8 positions, they're going to see Falcon Electronics products. Now that's the number 1 organic position. If I click the number 2 organic position, what do I see? Check this out. Here's Falcon Electronics number 1. Falcon Electronics is number 2. You can't see it, but down here at the bottom on the number 4 position is once again Falconer Electronics. So what we're doing is we're trying to dominate search by taking advantage of using Amazon. And there's all sorts of resellers. Again, my friends in Miami at SantaFlow, they have tons of different niche resellers that sell hand dryers and sell baby changing stations that they can take advantage of. And maybe that's going on in your industry as well. So you want to take full advantage of those. Let me take it one step further. Let's say if somebody did a search for ground straps Amazon, Okay. They're like, hey, I'm going to go on Amazon, but they do the search on Google before they get to Amazon. The number one position, that is Falconer. Even though all these are Amazon, that's Falconer number one. That's Falconer number two. And down here at the bottom is Falconer as well. So 3 out of the top 6 positions belong to Falconer. And we're capturing organic rankings by just partnering with Amazon. Now, another great resource is called Zorro. Zorro is a division of Grainger. I think they're flirting with $1 billion in revenue, monster growth company, incredible e-commerce growth. When you do a search on Zorro for ground straps, once again, first supplier that comes up is Falconer Electronics. And again, that's why it's so critical on your e-commerce journey that you have a third party or an online marketplace strategy. Now, lo and behold, this Friday, man, we are so excited. We have the Senior Director of Business Development, Tracy. She is our speaker this Friday. She is from Zorro. We're going to be digging deep into all the opportunities that exist at Zorro. However, she's also going to talk about why marketplaces are such a critical part of your e-commerce strategy. So please join us. I'd love to have you there. I'm going to take a breath real quick. So Jenna, I don't know if there's, I didn't check the chat. I don't know if there's any questions. Are there any questions that I've covered a ton? Anna, you got frozen. Thank you. Any questions that you guys have so far? And if not, what we'll do is we'll keep firing through.
Hey,
Anything?
Curt, we do have a question here. It says, at what point should I start selling on Amazon? So if I'm a small business and growing, at what point should I be looking to consider Amazon?
Well, I could kid around and say yesterday, right? So I think, it's that my short answer is it depends. Okay. A lot of folks, if that person, so combination of things. Number one, I'm sticking around after the program. Love to address or answer any specific questions. Number one. So please stick around. I'd love to know what the product is. If you want to drop in the chat, and even if we don't hit it right now, we could hit it at the end. So if you want to talk about your industry, your product line, what have you, I'd love to kind of geek out and talk about that. Here's my answer. I strongly encourage you. The great thing is Craig and I are going to start selling, he's a boating guy. We're going to sell some boat supplies, right? And we start selling boat products. We are less than a needle in the haystack, right? It's 2021. Wish it was 2001, 20 years ago, but in 2021, we are starting from scratch. The great thing about going on Amazon is you have how many billions of people you have instant customers immediately on Amazon. Here's another scary stat. We do our free Friday program. We had an Amazon expert on our show. This blew my mind. I've been in e-commerce since 1995. This one blew me away. Think about this. 50 cents of every e-commerce dollar is going to Amazon. He was sharing that large, like Cardinal Health, Fortune 500 companies are now selling 7-figure, $1 million products over Amazon and on e-commerce. That's, so many companies we work with were like, well, we sell $10,000 products, $50,000 products. Guess what, guys? They are now being purchased on Grainger, Zorro, Amazon, all those places. So if you are just starting from scratch, think of 50 cents of every dollar is going to Amazon. Number two, I showed a stat in our last presentation. I left it out today. 63% of all product searches start on Amazon now. Amazon, Jenna, I don't know if you're young. Amazon used to sell books. Who knew that they used to sell books? They now are just as much of a search engine as Google is. So that was my long-winded answer. So my short answer was kind of kidding around yesterday. My real answer is it depends. My long-winded answer is, man, it puts you at a disadvantage by not being on those marketplaces. That's my answer there. So, but again, if that person wants to stick around, drop in the chat box what product you have, and we could kind of, I call it geeking out. We can geek out and go a little deeper. So guys, what we're going to do is I want to get underneath the hood. Okay. Last program, I talked about capturing those first page rankings on Google. I'm actually going to reveal what's underneath the hood. Let's take a look. Okay. So now we're back on this product page for these ground straps. And again, it's not about, I know you're like, gosh, Curt, quit talking about these ground straps. It's just about the process that we're talking about, right? So this could be your product. It could be we're talking about Craig's kids. It could be, you know, sports items, dresses, t-shirts, whatever the item is. We want to put as much information on there as possible. But what I want to do now is let's go behind the scenes. Okay. Since we're all BFFs, this is top secret stuff, man. If anybody found out I was sharing this, they might, Craig, I paid up my life insurance last night just in case somebody takes me out for revealing this top secret information. Anna, Jen, tell my wife I love her, but if anybody takes me out, this is what happens. So I'm revealing top secret sauce right here. Here we go. We're underneath the hood of this product page, behind the scenes. Now, if you're on WordPress, you see these two buttons right here. That's green. That means like, hey, green light, green is good. We learned that when we were kids. This is called SEO Yoast. Okay. This is a great tool. It's a plugin to help you figure out what should you be doing. This is what I love about e-commerce. I love about strategies here is it makes us feel like a genius because they tell us what to do. We don't have to stand around and guess, hey, what should we put on this billboard? Or for those of us old enough to remember yellow page ads, what should I put in my yellow page, my phone book ad, right? Google tells us what to do. So let's take a look. This whole list, don't want to be overwhelmed here. This whole list is what helps you capture. It optimizes that product page. So when you hear somebody, hey, did you optimize your product page? You're like, what are they talking about? I'm embarrassed that I don't know what they're saying. All they're saying is, did you make it SEO or did you make it Google friendly? So you take a look at a few things on this list. We won't get super, we're going to get deep. You want to have an outbound link. You want to have an internal link. What is an internal link? Internal links is just simply this. We sell these little goofy ground straps. This page is promoting the 8-inch. Well, guess what? We sell 4, 8, 12. All I'm doing is I'm linking to other pages. Okay. The big thing with Google search results is based on links. We're going to continue that theme. Your keyword density, your description, your meta description. What on earth is that? Your image alt tags, your text length. What are your SEO title width is, so we're seeing good job, good job, good job. What are they talking about? Let's take a look. So when you look here, when you do a search result and you see all this verbiage on a search result, you're like, you know, did Google just go on a website and just grab a bunch of information? Or did somebody actually tell Google what to put out there? The answer is both. If you don't optimize your page, meaning you didn't make it SEO or Google friendly, Google is just going to randomly pull information off of that page. If you tell them, it's much better because now we can speak to our persona, like my friends Jen and Anna. We can talk to Mario or Alan and talk directly to that ideal buyer or that soulmate. So let's take a look here at Falcon Electronics. So in the SEO title right here, see, we have our keyword is braided ground straps, made in USA. You look down here, this is the meta description, okay? And we're telling Google 8.5 inch, 8 by ½ inch braided ground straps. So you look up here, here's the SEO title. There it is right there. That's the SEO title. You look at the description, there's a description right there. You're like, what's a slug? A slug is simply when you look at your website, your domain name. So it's abc.com, it's Youngstown State University, SBDC.com, or in this case, FalconElectronics.com. And you know, there's always a backslash with an extension afterwards. That's it right there. So all we're doing is, what I want you to think about, Google is looking at your web page like it's a term paper, okay? So it's just like, think about the headline, body, some different headlines throughout, almost like a newspaper article. So that's what Google has done. So now let's just take a look. If I do a search for 8-inch ground straps, so again, I'm engineering Ernie, I'm engineering Elsa, and I do a search for 8-inch ground straps, what do I see? Number one, Amazon. Now that is Falcon Electronics product right there. So again, Amazon has captured the #1 organic position, but they're promoting Falcon Electronics product. Number two, once again, Amazon, who is it? It's Falcon Electronics. Now, the cool thing is you look down here at the bottom, here's Walmart in the #4 position. Whose product is that? It's Falcon Electronics. I go to, so now this is one page, okay? I couldn't do one screenshot, I'm not that good. Here's the bottom of the page. So now we have the #1 with Amazon, #2 with Amazon, #4 with Walmart. #5 is Falcon Electronics Direct. #6 is Falcon Electronics. And you look at these images down here at the bottom, These are all Falcon Electronics images of their products. So again, we're trying to dominate search, man. We want to own these pages. I want you to own your pages. We want to keep that competition out. So when that ideal buyer, that soulmate, needs your product that you sell, the solutions that you provide, we want you coming up front and center. Now, a lot of folks, I don't know about you, maybe it's just us older dudes, we do a search and you hit images and you're like, you just want to see all those images. Once again, I did 8-inch ground straps. What's coming up? Here's Falconer number 1, number 2, over here 3, here once again. But the interesting thing is not one picture, not one domain is going to Falconer. It's Amazon, Walmart, Amazon, Zorro. So again, that's why it's so important having that online marketplace strategy, because it helps you dominate those search results. Let's take it one step further. Now, Jen and Anna, I think we were talking about, like tagging our pictures. What's it mean to tag our pictures? Did you optimize your pictures? What are you talking about? So here, when you optimize an image, it's what's called an alt text. What is alt text? We're just simply labeling what is it, and we want our keywords in that alt text right there. We have a caption. So once again, braided ground straps made in USA. Here's a description, braided ground straps. So you see, we're repeating that keyword over and over as we're optimizing, or somebody uses that phrase tag as you're tagging that keyword. Okay. Now, does this work? Now, if I do a search, I showed you earlier, ground straps. If I do a search for ground straps and I click images, once again, here's Falconer, Falconer, Falconer. All these arrows are Falconer. And what's cool, this is actually Falconer's website. This is Falconer's website. This is Falconer's website. Here's Walmart. And over here is Amazon. So again, by tag teaming that strategy, we're trying to dominate. And we would love to own, we need to get the rest of these people out of this page. Fastenal, Grainger, other billion-dollar companies that we're butting heads with, but we want to own this page, right? Okay. Man, I'm having a good time. I hope you are as well. So let's continue on. At our last program, that was like in COVID time, that was like years ago, even though it was back in the end of June. I talked about capturing first page rankings with blogging, went deep into how we did that. I'm just going to show a couple examples. And again, this is top secret, Craig. If tell my wife I love her. So, you know what I'm talking about. But here, wire harness manufacturing, super, super competitive keyword right here. And if I look at the top spot, little old tiny 35 employee Falcon Electronics has the coveted Google snippet. What's a Google snippet? It's this little box here that's every search marketer's dream come true. Somebody could click on that 1,000 times and it's not going to cost that company, that provider, a single penny. Okay. So Falcon Electronics has top position for wire harness manufacturing. We went in last time. I'm going to change gears on you. Commercial power strips made in USA. Out of nearly 47 million pages, little tiny Falcon Electronics has number 1 and number 2 position. And you're like, Curt, man, that's a lot of words. Who's going to type commercial power strips made in USA? And I'm going to show you an example on this a little, and just because we're coming into the end of the program, but I have another example for you on this. But if engineering ELSA is with, say, Department of Defense or someone in a line of government where they have to buy made in USA, Falcon Electronics is one of the only US manufacturers of heavy duty power commercial strips, and they would certainly be interested in that search result. Okay. So now next, let's back up a couple here. Okay. Now, when I do a search for ground straps in this particular time, we've beat Amazon. We're in a top spot again in that Google snippet. Now, here's the last one, and now we're going to go underneath the hood. Electrical ground straps. If you do a search for electrical ground straps, once again, Tiny Falcon Electronics has that top coveted Google snippet. We're ahead of Amazon. We're ahead of Fastenal. Obviously Amazon's major. Fastenal is a huge major company. Okay. So now let's take a look at what we've done here. Our keyword is right here, ground straps, the official ground strap resource guide. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys the front end of this blog post. How did we capture that Google snippet? To be honest with you, the only person on the planet, I guess the only company that determines do you get first page ranking on Google is Google. If you ever have an SEO firm say, hey, we can guarantee you first page rankings, run, because I absolutely don't guarantee. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of energy, but I'm just going to show you an example of how we captured it. And let's walk through. So this is how do ground straps keep us safe? So now what we've done is we've gone in and kind of geeked out and like how this little product can keep you safe. And again, we're trying to speak that right language to our right buyer, engineering Elsa and Ernie. We turn to the next page. We have some technical drawings that they would be interested in. We have our call to action button here. Video. Again, video. Can't love video enough. Time on your website is one of the factors that Google measures on capturing those first page rankings. Are people going to your website and leaving immediately? So I encourage you, come up with strategies to keep people lingering, hanging out on your website. Videos are that great strategy. And again, where are we posting this? Tip of the day on Vimeo. So when people are, when they've completed and that video is over, they're not populating all those ads, or we have that little shiny object syndrome where they end up going somewhere else. Okay. Now we're going to go underneath the hood. Here we go. How did you capture the Google snippet with this blog post? Again, top secret. It's just between us guys. We're BFFs. Let's take a look. We have an outbound and internal links. An outbound link is you want to have a link to an authority website. An authority website, a perfect example is right here. Where are we? Youngstown State University. If you were to link to universities, colleges, government websites, authority websites, Google's going to see that you're linking to, Craig was just talking about his son, we're so proud of him, might be looking at Harvard or like MIT. If you have an article that from Harvard and you do a link from your website to an authority website, that helps. Internal links, key phrase introduction. Here's a question I'm asked commonly, and here we go. Curt, how many times did you put that keyword in there? Here's the top secret. See that number right there? 43 times. How many words is that blog post? 2,300. So it's a meaty, juicy blog post. We're trying to show our expertise, our authority, and our trust as we're targeting our soulmates, those engineers. Okay. So that we just covered, that was kind of our SEO strategy. I'm just going to just touch for a minute Google Ads, your Google Ads strategy. If you're not on Google Ads, I encourage you, check out Google Ads. They always have like that free little $150 coupon. You can capture a coupon, just get your feet wet, get started, be very cautious and diligent because it can get out of hand quickly. So again, if I do a search for ground straps, you see that little AD, those are those Google ads. Now, who creates and who populates these ads? Is Google, again, just randomly pull stuff off a website? Absolutely not. What happens is you are creating your ads. My friend Anna in Miami is now a Google Ads guru. She is an expert, Anna. So proud of you. You take a look here, what's going on. So we can guide our soulmates, those ideal buyers, to what page, what landing page. So we talked about landing pages earlier, the difference between product pages, and maybe we want to test those out. So like maybe Anna in Miami, maybe she wants to test out sending Mario to a product page. And then maybe she wants to do another ad running him to a product page, and then another ad going to a landing page. Now, what we can do is we can have taglines in here like save on braided ground straps, free shipping, made in USA. Where you look over here to the right, that's exactly what's in this ad. Okay, I'll go back a second. See, all this verbiage right here is right in this ad right here. So we're telling Google exactly what we want, and we're also trying to speak the right language to that right buyer. So again, here, ground straps, multi-packs, save on braided ground strap, save on braided ground strap. We have compare prices, great savings, made in USA. And again, this is the mobile version. And here's what's critical, guys, is you are identifying your ideal buyer. Are they heavy on desktop or are they on mobile? It is such a distinct difference. And so many folks forget or ignore what their website looks like or what their search results look like. You want to pay attention to both. Okay. So as how are we doing on time? We're coming into the end. I'm going to cover a few quick things for you. Keywords. Your keyword research is simply understanding what people are asking and then depositing them into the conversation. So for example, we did like shoes. That's just way too broad. I'm going to take it one step further. Well, how about running shoes? That's still very broad. How about pink running shoes? How about pink running shoes with purple shoelaces? Okay. Remember earlier I showed you commercial power strips made in USA. So think about what your ideal buyer, what are they saying? What are they typing that find your product? Again, if I did a search for pink running shoes with purple shoelaces, here are the Google ads. Here are images. We want to get very specific in your search strategy. Okay. I'm going to jump ahead real quick here. I talked about how important those videos are. YouTube. And again, YouTube is a great place for search. We talked about those backlinks. You want to make sure that you put a lot of meaty information if you're putting up videos of your product, how-to videos, any video that you're putting up. You want to put information, have your keywords in there, and have backlinks going to your website. This is the last thing I want to cover with you guys real quick, domain authority. We could probably have a whole workshop just on domain authority. What is domain authority? Domain authority is what Google deems the importance of your website. And a big measurement of that are those links coming to your website. What am I talking about? Right here. Yesterday, we just had a super fun LinkedIn workshop. Why is LinkedIn or Facebook or social? If the team at the SBDC here are putting on any social programs, man, I strongly encourage you attend those workshops. Why are they so important? Check this out. Most companies that I work with, we'll take a look here. Their domain authority is going to be like at 24. A lot. If you're just starting out, maybe you're at an 8, a 10. A lot of manufacturers are in the teens. You take a look here, LinkedIn, Facebook, CNN, Business Insider, Google, Bing, Yelp. All of these are in the 90s. These are high domain authority websites. We want those links coming into our websites because it just makes us look more credible, right? Again, we're trying to build that trust, expertise, authority by having quality backlinks, okay? And again, a backlink is just simply that little link right there. It's just a link going to your website. Those are critical to your success on capturing domain authority. Last thing I want to talk about, social. Again, we had a wonderful, fun LinkedIn program yesterday. Guys, whatever platform if you're targeting young folks, if you're targeting teenagers, you probably don't want to be on LinkedIn. You probably don't even want to be on Facebook. Why? Mom and dad are on Facebook. Grandma and grandpa are even on Facebook. Teenagers aren't super active on Facebook. Maybe you want to be on Instagram, Pinterest. Another great place to post is Reddit and Medium. And of course, we talked heavy about YouTube. Man, I'm out of breath, guys. So here we go. So bottom line, online marketing, man, I could have just pulled up this slide and saved you about half an hour. It's this simple. SEO, we want links. Think about those titles, your blogs, your videos, all that, right? And what did we kick off the program with? What is that technical definition of e-commerce? Sell your stuff online, okay? We want to make it as easy as humanly possible to do business with you. Make your ideal buyers, those soulmates, make them feel like Mr. Einstein here, make them feel like a genius. We covered 4 things today, guys. Discover that ideal buyer. Make a great first web impression. You want to get out there and dominate search, and you want to get on the offensive. Again, Jenna, I don't know if you ever knew this. Amazon, way back in the e-commerce prehistoric days, they sold books. So guys, stop being the best kept secret. Great book on Amazon. And again, thank you for the program. I want to give a huge shout out and a huge thank you to the Small Business Development Center here at Youngstown. Again, if you're not engaged with these guys, strongly encourage you. Their services are completely free, confidential. They provide all sorts of great resources to help you on your entrepreneurial journey. And that's my program, Craig. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you very much, Curt. Jen, I just want to check in with you to see if there's any questions at this time for Curt.
Yes, of course. We have a couple in the chat here. So one of them says, any suggestions for pricing your product on Amazon versus on your own website when you're selling the same product on your company site versus Amazon? Do you have any suggestions on that?
Yeah, that's a great question. And pricing is a very sticky one. And there's a lot of debate on pricing. Theoretically, technically, you want or should try to keep it consistent. Okay. Now, when I say that, there's always buts. The challenge is the seller is we're always caught up on, but I'm losing so much margin, man. I'm losing 30% or whatever it works out. It's substantial, right? Manufacturers have great success on Amazon because they have the luxury of wide margin. Okay. If you are a reseller and you have a product with tight margins, you're like, man, I just can't afford it. Okay. What I like to preach is when you break down, number one, the huge advantage is when you take advantage of Amazon Prime. Okay. When you have Amazon Prime, again, what was our tagline today? Make it as easy as humanly possible to buy from you. How many people on this planet have Prime? I don't know about you. Seems like UPS is in my neighborhood on an hourly basis, let alone, delivering something, especially through COVID, right? Amazon makes it super, super easy to do business with. So with that Prime, to do Prime, you have to use what's called FBA, filled by Amazon primarily. There are some exceptions, but mainly filled by Amazon, meaning you have to put your product in the Amazon fulfillment center and they will ship it. Therefore, you can earn Prime. When you have Prime from a consumer standpoint, like, well, I'm getting a deal. I'm part of this exclusive club. I'm going to ship using Prime. So number one, on Amazon, you want to use Prime. Okay. Number two, Amazon's doing all the work for you and they found customers. The odds are there's no guarantee that they would have found you. Okay. So like, oh man, I landed a sale from Amazon and I lost 30%. You know what? However, if you can maintain your profit margins and it's profitable, that's a sale that odds are you would have never realized, because is it realistic that the customer would have found you instead of on Amazon? Okay. So you have to look at it from a cost standpoint of, would I've had this sale to begin with? Okay. So I strongly encourage, without breaking into like margins, gross margins, your cost of goods, did you manufacture it? Are you buying it, reselling it? Without getting down and dirty, I encourage you to keep it pretty close to those. And you just want to look at, this is a sale I probably wouldn't have had otherwise. And if they fulfilled it for me, I could sit on the beach and be fulfilling orders while Amazon does it for me. They've pulled that overhead cost off my plate. Amazon's going to ship your product much more cost effectively and efficiently than we ever could. And so just want to think, we're like, well, I'll just do it. Well, what's the value of your time for you to ship that? So those are two things. So with that diatribe, with that ramble, think about two things. What would it cost you to ship it yourself? Okay. You're not going to have the discounts that Amazon has shipping it direct to that consumer. Your UPS rates our UPS rates will never be what Amazon has. So that's something to consider. And most importantly, would we have captured that sale? So that's my answer there.
Great. Thanks, Curt.
Yep.
Another question we have that says, should I sell on Amazon and also create my own store on Shopify as well? Or is it just to have, my own store? Like, should I have one or the other?
Yep. Another excellent question. So if, again, thank you guys. Thank you, each and every one of you. Know you're super busy. Thank you for joining us today. We're just honored to have you part of this. My short answer, how about depending on budget? So if this person is just starting out, what does budget look like? The nice thing with Amazon is, what does it cost on Amazon? Arguably nothing. I don't want to discount or not be respectful of anyone's time, but there's not a huge cost to get on Amazon. I think it's $39.99 a month. There is certainly a learning curve to putting your product online. The thing is, you can go online with Amazon and you're potentially in the game, in the market of, billions of customers immediately. With Shopify, if you have time, interest, tech savvy, the desire, yes, you can go on Shopify, you build out your own shopping cart, the time, energy, so on and so forth. And man, you put out like the best website on the planet. We're still the best kept secret. We need to get out there and be found. So now you have all the marketing, you need to do social, so on and so forth. Running through this example today, I love the tag team approach. If you have the time, effort, budget, so on and so forth. And then another great question popped in, looks like. To avoid huge costs on Amazon storage fee, long-term storage fee. Okay. So we have another question here. What are your recommendations to avoid a huge cost in Amazon storage fee and long-term storage fee? Okay. My short answer is turn the product over as fast as possible. And then that helps, that's the easy layup answer, right? Boy, let's turn the product over faster. And so the sweet spot is keeping a limited amount of goods at Amazon, where how, and you'll never hit it. We will never hit it 100%. But how can you keep the inventory turning over fast enough so you avoid, prevent, or minimize storage fees? So you're turning product. It's almost like a restaurant turning tables, right? They want to turn those tables to make more money. Amazon wants that product turning. They're not a storage facility. They are a fulfillment center. They want to move goods. So that's the first answer. Another great thing to do is like we're seeing on, as I showed some of the examples here, our clients are now promoting their Amazon stores. So again, they're actually, as much as we would love to have them come to our own site and we're like, hey, we don't pay that Amazon fee. But when they've analyzed like, hey, you know what, they can fulfill it for me. I don't have to run down to the mailbox. I don't have to go down to UPS store or whatever, or even large manufacturers that have the infrastructure. They're like, hey, these ones and twos, these small orders, I can just turn it over to Amazon. So promoting your Amazon store, promoting your Amazon product, doing everything that you can, watching your inventory like a hawk, and maybe like it might require more babysitting where like you're shipping product more often, but that's a great way. If the cost of you shipping the product to the fulfillment center is less than the storage fees, that's one way to get around that. And so that's my short answer to that question. And any other questions that we have?
Nope, I think that wraps up Q&A on my side here. Craig, if we go on to the next part.
Sure. Well, Curt, again, thank you very much today. We truly appreciate you taking the time to help our attendees really learn about e-commerce for business and how to boost your e-commerce strategy. So excellent work. Special thanks to Jenna for setting up all the sessions. And of course, Patricia Vise, our director of our SBDC, for having this program available for our clients and other attendees. We really appreciate it. Thank you, everyone, for coming today and attending. I want to wish you a great rest of your day. And please feel free to contact us if you have any needs or any ways that we can assist your business. So thank you again.
Thanks, Craig. Thank you, Patricia. Thank you, Jenna. Thank you, everyone. Have an awesome day. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Take care, Curt.
Yep. We'll see you.
All right. Bye-bye.